Welcome back. It's time for this week's Tobacco Barn review, where we're going to be reviewing the La Buena. This happens to be the number 2, and it's a Belicoso. Already have it cut and ready to go. We're dealing with the flies today, so you'll just have to bear with me. Kind of a sticky, humid evening in West Kentucky, but I'm going to try to get through this smoke while I still have daylight, so we can enjoy and I can describe the smoke all the way through. Also happen to have a glass port of Four Roses. This is a straight Kentucky bourbon. Okay, I've smoked it or had it with a smoke several times before, especially the La Buena, so it's why I picked it out of the shelf today. Okay, nice. They nicely go together. They complement each other. So, with that being said, let me quickly explain that the wrapper is a Connecticut broadleaf. The filler, the binder, both Nicaraguan. Okay, so everything is set up so far for a good smoke. Now wait till I tell you this. The Garcia family makes this smoke, and it's distributed and part of the line of the My Father cigars. So, you know, we've got really all the beginnings here of something that we have a good feeling is going to be a nice smoke. I know it's a nice smoke. I've had it. So, with that being said, I also like to feel around the smoke, make sure it doesn't have any soft spots, and this one doesn't. It seems to be rolled tight all the way to the foot with rich tobacco. Let me quickly talk about the band. This is really neat. It has kind of that old historical classic, maybe a Civil War locket look to it. You know, so with the red background and the white silhouette of the woman, it really stands out in a humidor especially. Okay, and then also before we light it up, La Buena translates into English as the mistress or the boss. So that's a neat fact as you pick one up and begin to smoke it. Okay, let's do that now. Going to toast the end, as you can see here. Okay, get the end nice and red. Might be scorching this one a little bit. All the same, let's get her going. There we go. Nice red cherry in the middle. It's always important to get a cigar lit correctly the first time. Now you can make corrections. However, if you don't realize there's a problem right away, you'll be getting into the first third of the smoke and further down the line too, thinking that there's possibly a problem with the draw. So always check. Make sure you've got a good circle cherry that has the entire foot lit up. Oh, this is nice. Immediately I pick up on the creaminess, okay? One thing I would, I've smoked cigars for several years, but one thing I would caution new cigar smokers is with this particular smoke, it's a powerhouse smoke. I've seen many of my friends giving them cigars over the years that smoke now and again or didn't smoke. We're not really cigar smokers. And there are several chokes that happen at the beginning of the smoke. You get choked up a bit. So just know going into it that it's a powerhouse smoke. Puts out a lot of smoke, and usually the draw is really smooth. Again, creamy, very creamy, spicy. There's a little bit of a thicker spice that I think it will hit towards the middle half of the smoke. It always has for me in these La Buena number 2s in the past. Again, this is a Belicoso. The Tobacco Barn in Paducah has 6 different sizes. Okay, so a wide selection. Good smoke. Again, easy draw. Now, it hasn't yet, but I do know from smoking these in the past that they have a tendency to get very hot. near the foot. Now, you may think, well, that's what cigars are supposed to do. After all, we've lit the foot with fire. But let me tell you, it may be more so with this one than other smokes. They tend to climb up and get pretty heated. So I always suggest taking 2 or 3 draws per minute. These flies are awful. One was trying to get a sip of whiskey a minute ago. And, you know, I'm drinking this Four Roses out of a Glenlivet cup, a good scotch, very expensive scotch, and I think that may be violating some law. I'll check into that. Again, this is a smoke packed with flavor, a nice sweet tobacco. Again, I talked about the creaminess. Maybe there's even maybe there's some sweet molasses in there. Anyway, what we're going to do is I'm going to work on finishing the first third of the La Duena, okay, number 2, Belicoso, and we'll get more into it, and we'll talk about how the flavors change. Ladies and gentlemen, in this short time that I've been working on the first third of the smoke, I've killed 72 flies. Oh boy, as you get into the smoke, I'm really picking up on 2 particular spices. One I can identify, and the second one is a nice mix and complement to the first one, but it's I can't really pick up on what it is. That far into the smoke. The first spice is more of a hot or a mild chili spice. Okay, and this is more of a the chili spice seems to be lasting longer. Okay, 2 to 3 minutes, and that's picking up more of that on my lips. The second, you know, it's different than the chili spice, but this is more in the draw and the smoke itself. Okay, but again, first third, and we're smoking along. Okay. What I'm finding now, let's get a little bit deeper into the smoke, is the spice is beginning to die down. Notice we still have a nice lengthy ash, so that's a sign of a nicely rolled cigar. And as the spice dies down, it seems to be the spice goes out, or at least down, and then you have more of a kind of a coffee flavor come in. This might be a strong, too strong of a smoke to smoke in the morning with coffee. However, a nice evening smoke, if you drink coffee in the evening, this, after a full dinner, of course, this would be a very nice smoke. So keep that in mind. In the last half of the smoke, I have picked up on the spice coming back. The coffee blend is still there, but again, it's weakening. A perfect change of flavors. As the spice dies down, you have some coffee for several minutes, you know, as you get into the second half, and then the spice begins to come back. I'm really enjoying this smoke, and it's like I've never smoked it before, but I have, and I always keep coming back to the La Duena because it's always a solid smoke. Never let me down. Again, the Four Roses complementing the smoke that much further. And look at the band here. Some people smoke band on, some people take the band off before they light up. It is simply a preference, okay? In some of the bigger cigar lounges, when you're smoking with more of the uppity people that come in and smoke, have the smoking jackets on and the suits and whatnot, sometimes they purposely smoke with the label on, especially when they're smoking a high-priced cigar, as a means of non-verbal bragging. However, to me, it really doesn't matter. I don't smoke really expensive cigars. I find a lot of what I like in the $7 to $10, $11, $12 smokes. Okay, I've smoked a $32 smoke before and liked it just as much as I did one of the $9 or $10 smokes I've had in the past. However, my point is, as the cigar begins to, this one's a little bit tough, but as the cigar begins to warm up, okay, you find that if you wait to that point, it's a little bit easier to peel off the sticker, because obviously the adhesive begins to melt. Thanks for smoking with me. I hope you pick up a Laduina number 2 Belicoso. Try them in different sizes. Let me know what you think about the dual spice. You know, the halfway through, the spices will begin to die down. You'll pick up on the coffee taste. But after that, the coffee will kind of leave you. The spices will come back as if to remind you how the cigar started out. Okay, very nice smoke, full flavor, very rich tobacco. Okay, a very nice even drawl. The only thing I would caution you about is if you're a novice smoker, just be prepared to smoke the smoke very slowly, especially in the beginning, because you could choke several times. But once you get used to it, it's a very nice smoke. It warms up, gets a little bit hotter than some of the cigars that I've smoked. Just know that going in, 2 or 3 draws a minute, and you'll really enjoy the smoke, especially if you pick up a nice drink that goes with it. The one I've chosen is one that I've paired with the Laduina, the 4 Roses, several times, and they complement each other great. Thanks for smoking with me. I'm Tim Hoppy Hopwood for this week's cigar review from the Tobacco Barn in Paducah. Cheers.